All right, so let's see some hand examples. Here we have aces, and we have around 150 big blinds. And as you remember, when we get 3-bet, we should just call. So I think I made a mistake here by 4-betting. I would rather just call my entire range. But I had a read on this opponent, and this is definitely why. But if you know your opponent is sticky, he likes to peel 4-bets, then it's totally reasonable. Then, okay, just 4-bet aces or kings. It's totally fine. So I 4-bet. I don't make it big because I know the range should be quite polarized. So I want to work with this rather small sizing because it works pretty well for my bluffs. Even though, again, I did the 4-bet for an exploitative reason. And in hindsight, I should make it a little bit bigger because I know, okay, if he has something like suited and connected, he's probably not letting go of it anyway. And then we play post flop. Here, I'm not gonna go so much into detail. We just go bet, bet, bet. And yeah, the river is like, I mean, we cannot fold. We block the nut flush. He's probably never having queen jack in hearts. So there are only one or two combos he can have, something like 7-8 in hearts or 6-5 in hearts. But other than that, he can definitely turn something into bluff, like pocket queens, pocket jacks. He can turn into a bluff with the heart. So I definitely call it off here. And he should also, like, I just want to say, he should really have king 10 suited. So I mean, this is definitely not a good play. I would never advise 3-betting king 10 suited here. It's just pushing the variance. I mean, what is he doing on a blank? Like, is this plan to call down and then stack me off with top pair, no kicker for 150 bigs? So I would not advise doing that here. 10-9 suited, we get a 3-bet. Like, as you remember, 10-9 suited is not in our calling range here. Yet our opponent makes it so small. We only need 22% equity, so we increase our calling range. Also, we are more than 50 big blinds deep, so I easily call here. Our opponent bets, we make an open-end straight draw, and we always call. On the turn, we make our straight, so I start betting. I have more 9x in my hand, and I want to get some value from overpairs with the spade. I could have made it a little bit bigger, but the thing is, the stack, if I want to shove the river, he's gonna have less than pot size left, so I don't need to go so big. And the river is a spade, and I'm checking here. I'm using a min bet. It's technically a check. This will be part of the post-flop course, how to react to min bets or when to use them. I'm not going to explain that so much in detail here. And yeah, he has the king high flush, and yeah. But since we got such a good price pre-flop, we just have to call. He should definitely use a bigger sizing there. Here we have pocket jacks, get a 3-bet, also more on the smaller side. This is also a sign more for weakness. 1 second, now is my holy man just freezed. All right, so we just call, and keep in mind we are 200 big blinds deep, so we definitely don't want to 4-bet jacks here. And since someone overcalls, we can call almost anything that is any pair, anything that is suited and connected. I would just fold the really crappy hands like queen jack off, king jack off, where we can get in trouble multi-way. I would call king queen off, ace jack off, any suited ace, but I would fold ace 10 off, all the off-suited aces. But everything that can make a straight and is suited, I would definitely call. And the strongest board raise like king queen off, maybe even king jack off, but other than that, I would just fold. Also, his 3-bet stat over 6%. He's 3-betting the button not only once so far, cut off quite loose, but only 18 situations, so they can be caused by variance. So overall 6%, it's very tight. So we call. I mean, we call this flop. We also call this turn once, and then we just give up the river because our hand is so face up that we have jacks, queens, a 10, maybe 9s, 8s, that this is a sizing he would rarely use as a bluff. I don't mind calling here. I mean, from a GTO perspective, this is a call, but I'm going to also explain and teach that in the post-flop section. Here it's more about pre-flop. Here again, ace king, easy call. Here basically we just call those hands We're 100% deep, 100 big blinds, more than 100 big blinds, no, roughly 100 big blinds deep. Effective stack size here is our stack. So we just call ace king, ace queen, king queen suited, king jack. If you want to mix it up, you can 4-bet. Like, this is a situation where it's okay to 4-bet a hand like ace 10 suited. But other than that, I would just stick to my range. I mean, ace 10 suited is a good candidate to 4-bet bluff with. Yeah, and we make top pair, top kicker, so we start betting the turn. We get a weird raise on the turn. We call once, and then he bets very, very tiny on the river. He can do it with ace queen, so we're not folding here. Here jacks, but that happens. Next hand, king queen suited. We're on 40 big blinds deep. Our opponent 3-bets us. Yeah, we call. We make a nut flush, second nut flush draw. He checks. And now we start betting. I mean, we definitely want to bluff this hand and get him off an ace high. I mean, the thing is, we have to bet bigger because ace king, ace queen have an additional gut shot. So if you just bet half pot size, he basically has to call. But now with our value hands, let's say we have pocket fives, we have a 10. We can have the occasional traps with aces, kings. I want to bet nines here against ace king, ace queen as well. So we don't want to give him a good price. And now 6 guts there, and now many options are possible. I decided to jam. He called me with 9s, which is, yeah, a somewhat reasonable call. I mean, I have a lot of flush draws here. I mean, not so many, maybe 4, 8. I can jam any 10 for value. I can have some ace 4 suited, all my sets, all my traps. So I definitely have also a wide value range. Anyway, he called and he won. Pocket 9s, he easy call. We call 8s. We have 100 big blinds. We call 8s and 7s. And yeah, we fold something like queen 10 suited, jack 10 suited. We continue with king queen suited, king jack, and queen jack suited. But yeah, just take a look and then you know what to do. We can occasionally 4-bet with a hand like ace 10 suited. As you remember, we are out of position. So yeah, on this flop we would call once. We just keep checking the turn, no need in betting, and the river would also check call, but he checks down, ace queen off. Next hand, ace queen off here, faces small 3-bet. And here around less, I mean, if he has less than 40 big blinds, I don't mind a jam, but it's also fine just to call. Here we have 2 overcards, backdoor straight draw gut shot. We are head against his bluffs like 10-9, 8-9, ace-3, ace-4 suited, so we call once. We have 2 overcards. So yeah, and on the turn we just give up. Pocket 10s, faces 3-bet, again pretty deep here. We just call. We call once. And the turn is a pretty interesting card, because the thing is, now many of our hands improved to a flush. We still have many queen X, and we have also all those 9s, 8s, and 10s with a spade. So he actually should not have that much fold equity. So here, even though from a GTO perspective, pocket 10s with a 10 in spades should be a call, I made it exploited fold because he was also very tight 3-betting pre-flop. So I folded. I wouldn't have minded a call here either, but I think against this guy, folding is better. Ace-9 suited. He makes it smaller than 3x, and we're getting a decent, reasonable price. I don't mind seeing a 4-bet here. In hindsight, I would prefer the fold, to be honest. I don't like the call here. But if he would have made it to 600, I definitely would have folded. So here, little mistake by me. He bets. I mean, it's such a flop. There's only 1.8 in the middle. We have to protect our hand. We just jam. And yeah, we got very lucky. But this also happens. So you guys, I also want to show you where I did some mistakes, because it's really important to learn from them and not only show off with hands here where I made amazing, crazy, good bluffs and it worked, you know. No, in reality, things doesn't work out so well, and I want to show you that everybody in poker is struggling. We have our sticking points, situations where we do little mistakes, bigger mistakes, and that is totally fine. Here I really like this play. I'm really proud of it. We're getting a squeeze from a position, and this is like, here we should overfold. He's squeezing against a flat caller who's only playing 21-12, so he's flatting fairly tight, and here we're just in a very bad shape against his range. Kings, aces, queens, jacks, ace, king, ace, queen. So we just let go. He also makes it reasonably big. So there's also, he can potentially have aces and kings here as a trap. So we just fold. I would continue. I would just call ace, jack suited, ace, queen suited. I would jam ace, king. I would probably call 9s and better. So you see I'm pretty tight in that spot here. King queen off, usually not an open raise, but as you can see here, button cut off pretty tight, so I opted to go for an open raise. And again here, this is also a situation where we should just play fairly tight, even though our opponent's 3-bet's pretty small. But yeah, 9% overall is definitely more on the loser side, but I don't think he will take this spot ever light. And all his bluffs also have reasonable equity, like he can 3-bet ace queen as a somewhat like bluff slash value. So I don't want to, especially the suited, I would always call. I would call all the suited broadways here, Jack 10 suited, Queen Jack, because I have position, but King Queen off is a very nasty hand here. Right, King Jack suited. All right, now we have the situation, we face the squeeze behind us. We get a really good price here, and he should make it a little bit bigger. But since we're only 20 big blinds, we're not really going to realize so much equity. Because if we call, the pot is going to be 5,100, he has pot size left back behind it. So you can just jam the flop and we cannot do anything. So I really like the fold here, even though we're getting great odds. So the stack, the stack size is really important here. If it would have been deeper, I would have called. So you can see how the stack size can make the difference. All right, your call to action now. Again, the fucking money is out there, man. You're already part of the Raise Your Edge family and you bought this course. But your game is not gonna change if you're not taking the knowledge I'm sharing here with you out in the field, out on the poker tables, and apply it. So take action. And what I want you to do is, within the next 2 weeks before you watch the next video, or 1 week, depends on your skill level, but really do the homework. Analyze 4-bit shoving ranges for 20 to 35 big blinds, under the gun versus MP, under the gun versus button, MP and slash cutoff versus button, and small blind versus big blind. So give your opponent 3-bet range, what is he stacking off with, and then see what you can 4-bit jam with. Go step by step. Start with villain's calling range, as I explained to you, and then adjust his 3-bet frequency. Also, second homework, filter your database for 3-bet pots. Analyze 50 hands you have played in the 3-bet pot and apply the knowledge. 50 hands might sound a lot, but over 2 weeks, it's not that much. It's like over 10 days, 5 days a hand. It's not really that much. And you should not go so much in depth. Try to apply the knowledge here and answer the following questions. What did you do wrong? What will you do better in the future in 3-bet pots? Don't be over results orientated though. If you made a great play and your opponent it worked, but it was actually shitty play, be honest to yourself. Really think about, okay, your pre-flop ranges. Is it maybe a good spot to 4-bet bluff light? Did you miss a cold 4-bet bluff spot? Did you over defend a bit? Did you maybe make a wrong adjustment based on the stats? Did you just look on the overstuff? So everything I've been showing you, either exploitive plays, general mistakes, all those points, positions, stack sizes, everything, reanalyze it, don't miss those spots, and work with your summary. You should always make a summary for every course, every video, and take those summaries into your homework, and based on that, make the homework, and then you're gonna be good to go. All right, that's it for today. I'm looking forward to see you in the next video. That was Ben CB for Raise Your Edge. Bye bye.